if you flip it over, you'll see what we spend a lot of our time doing as well, in complement to what happens academically. We talk about forging young people of impact, right? Kids that are difference makers, who change lives and change organizations in which they're involved. Right? I've told many parents, I've told this community dozens of times in the chapel space that what gets me up in the morning is not necessarily the parish profile. I think it's really cool, and I'm passionate about that vision for teaching and learning. But I get up every day, and I've been in the business for 20 plus years to impact kids' lives. Like, that's what gets me going, right? And to help kids recognize their potential to do the same, right? So for us, and for me, the study of leadership and the instruction in leadership for kids that are already, by the dint of their birth and their education and all the resources that have been afforded, are by default going to be leaders. All 1,100 kids we have, just by the luck of the draw and their birth, are going to change lives. So we have to empower them to figure out what that really means. And that's what Parish Leads is all about. And if you look at the things on the bottom of the list, that really define Parish Leads, most of you who've been here for a long time will recognize all of those. We didn't go create dozens of programs. What did we create? A sense of intentionality and connectedness and how it all fits together, and a recognition collectively that, when we do that trip or that advisory activity or that retreat, that's all part of Parish Leads. That's all part of forging kids of impact, right? And that intentionality creates synergy, and it creates a catalytic and unified effort to do this with intentionality, right? Now, we have in the last year, I showed you, looking ahead last year, I showed you this framework had just been developed, right? It just been developed. We took our tenets, which all our kids know. I've told you, if I go out in the hallway now and say wisdom and service, the kids will go honor, right? They get it. Like, they know the third one, right? So the committee of really bright people that are around me here who wanted to work on this with me said, let's start from there. And let's define what those really mean for kids. And let's create a framework of language that when we all start to use it collectively and teach it to the kids, they'll not only know wisdom, but they'll know that wisdom means wise people, they really do engage in self-reflection. They think about what they do before they do it and while they're doing it. And then after they're done, was that a good thing to say, a good thing to do, or not? That's what wisdom is partially about, right? We talked about how to create language that would really be galvanizing. And then over this last year, we found places to implement it, right? Experiential trips, retreats, chapel. All our chaplains have taken their homilies and their work in chapel. Fall trimester was wisdom. Second trimester, service. Honors. Third trimester, service, right? So they've created these points of engagement. Even our assistant heads for student life, right? Again, the infrastructure that's implementing this. Andrew Jennings in the upper school is the assistant head. Linda Bernard is the director of student life and leadership. Middle school, Jeremy Callahan is the assistant head for student life and leadership. Lower school, Miriam Graham is the assistant head for student life and leadership. Their job is to get this implemented. And even in points of discipline and reflection with kids, it's this language that kids are being introduced to and asked to reflect on in writing or in answer to question when something goes haywire, right? So what could you have done to foster a more effective relationship here, right? How'd your words and actions not align in this particular instance, okay? So starting with our very littlest ones over in pre-K, all the way up now through upper school, this language is starting to percolate. And it'll take time. So looking ahead, where we'll be in a year from now, 2 years from now, much tighter in terms of our coordinated language use here, right? Around not just the tenets, but what those tenets mean in terms of forging kids of impact. I'll share with you here through handout one element of Parish Leads that is for a select group of kids. Again, Parish Leads touches every child. Every child through those programs listed at the bottom of the placemat is exposed to these principles of leading and serving within an ethical framework. But in the upper school, we have launched the Leadership Institute. We've just selected the first class of 21 freshmen. They will launch out into this program starting effectively with their sophomore year. This program involves coursework, which they'll take sophomore, junior, and senior year, a class each year. It involves workshops, 6 to 8 workshops that they'll have during the course of the year, during their flex time at lunch or on Saturday mornings. It's going to involve a mentor in the community with whom they interface with a kind of curriculum behind it to explore elements of leadership and self-awareness and relationship effectiveness. Right? And then it's going to finish with a lead project at the end, right? And where they demonstrate their ability to move something, Because effectively, that's our kind of simplistic definition of leadership at Parish, right? What do leaders do? They see a need or an opportunity and identify it. They enlist followers with a vision to either fix the need or capitalize on the opportunity, and they deliver measurable, achievable, they deliver measurable and lasting results. Yeah, pretty simple. You can read a lot of leadership theory books, but at the end of the day, leaders move things, right? So we want the LEAD project to be the demonstration for those kids of their ability to move something, okay? And so they'll work through that under the leadership of Linda Bernard and a cast of characters here who really like talking and thinking about leadership development in kids.